everyone, this is Yael from Yael Alchemy, and I'm here with the message of the Divine Feminine to her beloved for the week of August 14th through the 20th. Okay, so as always, I've already prayed over the cards and shuffled them. And at the bottom of the deck, which would be the general energy of this reading, we have the Ten of Coins. And here we have this lady. She's part of the nobility. Okay, and she's surrounded with coins and grapes. But it seems as though she's, what's the word? I can't remember the word. She's, it doesn't matter to her. She's ignoring them. She's very apathetic as far as they're concerned, despite the fact that she's being lauded by her servants or serfs. Okay? So she's taking all these things around her for granted. The next card we have is the King of Cups. And the King of Cups, and this card has been appearing in the Twin Flame Weekly and in the Message to the Divine Masculine. So really, this energy, this is the energy of unconditional love. However, in this deck, we can see here the king. He's almost grumpy. Okay? So there, Divine Feminines in the throne of unconditional love, emanating it, and yet still quite moody. Okay, brooding, that's the face. Okay, brooding. And really, that's why we have the Devil card here, because that's part of what's separating one from here. You can see the couple there in the distance, but the Devil is right up front. It's very visible, and you can see the couple here. They're beside the full moon, and yet what is not there, what is far away from them rather, is what is given focus. So it looks like there is a focusing on the wrong thing. It's like focusing on what you don't have instead of appreciating what you currently have. Okay? And here we have the Ten of Wands, and here we have this man crossing this puddle. He's trying to negotiate carrying all these wands, but he's not successful in doing that. So that's taking on more than you can handle. And here we have the High Priestess, again reminding us that there are things that still lie beyond the veil that will be given, the knowledge of which will be given at the right time. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay, so let's look at the message of the Divine Feminines to her beloved. Okay, the first card we have here is the Knight of Coins. And in this card, we have a knight that doesn't even look like a knight at all. Okay, he's there on his horse. He doesn't even notice it's a horse. He might as well be buried into his books. So he's surrounded by books. He's very engrossed with all these things that he's reading. And he's reading a book. And if you see closely, the leaf of the book, the back of the book, it's yes and no. Okay, so this is being trapped in it's sort of a mental paradox wherein it paralyzes you because you can't decide. Is it yes? Is it no? Are you going to move forward or not? You're looking at all the options. It's trying to figure out if you are headed towards a sure outcome and trying to learn as much about it, doing research. But then again, you're not getting anywhere. You're not even moving. So we'll see how that plays out. Okay. The next card that we have here is the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords is a card of rest. It's also a card of healing. It's taking a step back, okay? Because you have to rejuvenate. You have to, muster up some energy. But this is much needed rest, because this doesn't mean that the quest of this knight is over. It just means that he needs to take time out in order to reinvigorate himself or herself. The next card that we have is the Temperance card. And here we find this woman in perfect balance. Because look, while half of her is there in the earth, okay? It's above the water. Her head is below the water. It's immersed in water. So it's like half is above, half is below. And she, all the while, she's trying to juggle this water. And you can see here there's a feline. It's looking out into the distance. So this would pertain to being in balance, okay? Or having to find that balance. Because look, okay, wait, I'll open everything first, but the messages are coming in, okay? And the next card here is the Six of Swords. And here we have this ferryman, and there are 6 swords on the side of his boat. Now, half of the swords are immersed in water, which means, because the water represents emotions, so, and this represents thoughts. So a lot of thoughts of the divine feminine are really rooted in emotion, okay? So it's like how they think of things depends on how they feel about things. And this also indicates that because this ferryman is moving forward and he's in a cave, and the cave is lit only by the sliver of the moon there. He's finding his way out. But key to this card is it doesn't contain only swords, but it also has this wand. It's a big wand. Okay, so this wand is representative of desire, okay, willpower, motivation. And so despite the fact that these 6 swords are immersed in water that is kind of clouded, you can see that even this, the shadow of the boat, which is his vehicle, okay, going outside the cave, it casts a shadow on thoughts, on emotions. There's some divine feminines who recognize that this wand is the key to this card, to take them out of this cave. Because if she doesn't know the power of this wand, and that this wand can propel, you know how it's very common here because we're a tropical country and we often use bamboo rafts. And the local fishermen or the boatmen, they usually use this big pole in order to propel the raft or the boat. When I talk about boat, these are, the boats that are made out of bamboo. They're not the boats made out of steel, okay? It's local boats. They usually use this big stick to propel, to push it off the shore in order for it to gain momentum to go out to sea. So it's a way of directing the boat, okay? So if this ferryman, the key here to this card for some divine feminines, look, their thoughts, their feelings shadowed during their journey, very confused. If the ferryman does not recognize the power of this wand and how it can propel the boat out of the cave, then they're going to stay longer here in this dark, dreary cave, okay, instead of heading out into the light. So this is key, the wand here. And the last card we have is the Judgment card. And the Judgment card here is represented by the Wicker Man. Okay? And this is a festival in Glastonbury wherein they were supposed to burn the Wicker Man. However, weather conditions didn't permit it. But then the crowd was roaring and it was all frenzied up, the crowd, calling for the burning of the Wicker Man because that's what they were expecting. So this card has two meanings here for the Divine Feminine, okay? Because, one, it's because this card speaks of catharsis, the need to vent out whatever you're feeling in order for it not to be suppressed, to release that. If you're feeling frustrated, release it. If you're feeling angered, release it. Because otherwise, you're going to get stuck in that energy. So there's an energy here that needs release for the Divine Feminines. And the other message that's coming in is here. This card also speaks of pointing fingers, okay? Looking for a scapegoat for this frustration that they're feeling. Okay, so oftentimes this frustration, well, most of the time it's directed towards the readers, their guides, healers. I'm not talking about me in particular because my clients are great. Okay, even if the news isn't so good, they're very, very, and I'm very grateful to the Divine for bringing to me clients who are higher up the ascension ladder than usual. Okay, so but there are those, and I noticed this because those who comment and are very frustrated and say their twin is not their twin, well, I really can't comment on that because their confirmation or whatever they've had, I didn't channel it, so I have no background. So there. Anyway, so that's the other message, because you're so frustrated you lash out. So what do we have here? What I'm getting is that because I asked for a message from the Twin Flame Divine Feminine Collective, it looks like these are these are different types of Divine Feminine where they are now, okay? Here we have those who are still trying to who are still in their headspace. They're trying to figure this out logically, rationally, when all they come up with is they end up going in circles, because circles like the sun, because you don't figure this thing out with your head. You figure this thing out with your heart, and then you understand it and come into wisdom with your higher heart. Okay? So, there are some that are still here. There are those, the Divine Feminines, who have opted to step back for a while, to take a much needed rest. And what I said earlier is that that's okay, because sometimes you really do need to rejuvenate and to just get your bearings because you're so tired. But this doesn't mean that you're giving up the path, okay? And see, because this is in the middle of the card, there are some Divine Feminines who have found that equilibrium, that balance, okay, that understanding, that wisdom about 3D, 5D, ascension, they're twins, and this is a good card to have, especially that's in the middle. Okay, and this part of the collective, the Divine Feminine Collective, is actually helping balance out those that are still unbalanced at this time. And here for the Six of Swords, I've already discussed this, that there are some that are not focused on their way to propel themselves forward, but they're still focused on trying to figure out what this is that they're in. And as I said earlier, look, the shadows, their thoughts, their emotions, the darkness, it's very difficult for them. It's confusing for them. But they hold here the key. Okay, so whatever light that comes in, you just follow it. And they have to understand this segment of the Divine Feminine Collective. Look, this ferryman, this boat won't move in that direction unless he moves it. So action is needed on your part. You have to want to get out of the confusion. You have to want to seek that light instead of mulling over this, that it's so confusing, that there are so many schools of thoughts, that do I have one twin flame, do I have 10 twin flames? You get what I'm saying? They have to move forward. They hold the power to move forward with the swan, because that is the key that releases all these thoughts from the shadowed water. And for the other Divine Feminines, see here, I've already discussed this also, okay, two kinds. One, the need, there's a message here that there are some Divine Feminines, all of these, except for this, the one in balance, they need catharsis. They need to release, to vent. Okay? And the other ones, there are those that, are lashing out because of their frustration. So very quickly, because here, it's sort of not a direct message to a divine masculine, but it's saying who they are, which segment of the Divine Feminine Collective, where they're in, okay, right now. Oops. Okay. And you know what? I guess this is the message Spirit gave this week, because it's pre-eclipse week. We have a solar eclipse coming up on the 21st, and that's it's a big deal, because it's going to be in Leo, okay, and the North Node will bring us opportunities that we hadn't considered before. And if you are able to integrate all the energies from the lunar eclipse to Lionsgate to the solar eclipse that's upcoming, then it's going to help you shift into something totally unexpected, but more aligned with your soul truth and your soul purpose. Okay? Okay. For the Knight of Coins, okay. See, this is the map. But this person is figuring out the map because he thinks that everything can be laid out, that the path is stagnant. It's the map. But for the Divine Feminines, they're still trying to justify their way into this journey, okay? This is like the Marauder's map. I mean, if you watch Harry Potter, okay, the map is changing. It's not set in stone. And that's the reason why they're stuck in this energy, trying to figure things out. For the Four of Swords, here, see, for those that need rest, they'll be given support from the divine, because it's understandable. You need your rest to go forward. 2 steps, 1 step backward for 2 steps forward. For the Temperance card, okay, this is being bound, okay, which means not going anywhere, right? So here, this Temperance, staying the course, keeping balance. They're not leaving the path. They're bound to the path, the twin flame path, okay? So keeping balance. So this is not a bad thing. Six of Swords. Okay. Well, basically it's the same thing as I said earlier, because at sea, very confused. You know, the waves are turbulent and all that. Here, focusing on, you know, this, the ambiance is very disconcerting, okay, for this person who's trying to find his way out of the cavern, the cave. And for the Judgment card, okay, this is beauty. See? And what this is saying is that once you have released those pent up, the feelings, the feeling of whether it's frustration, whether it's jubilation, once it has been released, that's when you will see the beauty of it all, and that everything is coming in divine order. You can see here, this flower had to bloom from the seed, and then from the blossom up comes a heart. From the heart then comes the crown. So release is needed in order for you to appreciate the beauty of the journey and the path. Okay? So look here. So basically what the Divine Feminine Twin Flame Collective is telling the Divine Masculines is that there are some of them, I mean, there are sections of the collective that are in different phases at the moment. Okay? And well, that's just it. It's just describing where they are. And if the Divine Masculine, because sometimes it's surprising. I get, sometimes I read for clients, and actually it's the Divine Masculine that's more balanced than the person asking for the reading, okay, the Divine Feminine. And it's surprising because, but it does come up in personal readings, wherein the Divine Masculine is giving his Divine Feminine space because she's the one not balanced yet, okay? So there. So you could check out, but we can't see it here. It has to be a personal reading. But figure out which one are you here. If you are the Divine Feminine, which one resonates with you most, okay? And of course, in order to get the most out of the energetic phases that we are coming up to, and to prepare for the solar eclipse on the 21st, please do consider getting an advanced RASHEEBA healing. It'll clear you, especially those who are confused, those who need. The effect is very different. It cleanses you so that you can make the right choices, because the choices that we make after the solar eclipse, it's going to be very determinative of the reality that you create, okay? So that's what I have for you, and I hope this helped. Bye!